You're listening to the Geek Privateer podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the Geek Privateer podcast. I am the show's main host and front man, the Martinsburg Madman himself, the Captain Podfather. Also, welcome to one of our few that we are doing or have done in the past. So whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us on Podbean or Good Pods, don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment, and hit that subscribe button because it does help us. We could always use a few new listeners, watchers, and likers and commenters out there. So even though this episode is going to be primarily focused on Borderlands, with Borderlands 4 coming out later this week across the world. So we're going to talk about what we expect in Borderlands 4, what was said in the past, and what are our thoughts on the first 4 games. 5 if you want to count Wonderlands. 6 if you want to count the quasi Tiny Tina's Attack on Dragon's Keep that was released as a standalone version. No, I'm not including the 2 Telltale games that were also released, but I'll touch on those. But there's a few things I want to touch on first. And the first thing is pretty much an update before I go into the second thing. The update being what I talked about last week on the audio side of things. And the second is kind of the current drama going on in the video game space. For those of you new to the show, don't know what I'm talking about, but listening on the audio side, feel free to download last week's episode and give it a listen. And while you're there, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you're always caught up on the new stuff. For those of you watching this on YouTube, feel free to visit the links in our description to snag that episode and give it a listen so you're up to date. But the TDLR is with Helldivers 2, there was I think he was described as primarily a Call of Duty streamer that kind of thought that Helldivers 2 was a scam and this, that, and the other thing because you couldn't just buy stuff outright. Over the weekend, he kind of released a update and an apology in regards to his thoughts on it. He had a co-stream in regards to that, attached to that apology video, where he had, I think, another streamer hop in with him and show him the ropes and kind of go into more detail about Helldivers 2 that a lot of the fans and a lot of the newcomers actually know about. And the other thing is, I've been hearing, I'm not going to go into it too much here, is that with Helldivers 2, a lot of the PlayStation fans are kind of in an outrage that how dare a game that was released on Xbox hit close to 1 million downloads in just under a week. So it's just weird. Now, what are our thoughts on the game? I think I might have mentioned it in our last audio episode, and I think it's the same problem, and I'll go into that before and I'll expand on that reasoning and how it could be fixed in a second. But before we go into the drama that is currently occurring in the video game space, and that is our issue is it a good game? Yes. When we get into it and get into a match with others, yeah, it's fun. We're having a good time. We're getting what we need to. We're completing missions and so forth and so on. Where the downside is with the game for us is that we don't have friends that are playing the game, or we don't have friends playing the same time as us. We have exactly one friend on our Xbox friends list that is playing the game or touching the game in some manner. So it's trying to team up with them or get them to play with us is kind of an issue, and because of that, having that, it kind of puts us off on the game. I'm not saying Helldivers 2 is a bad game whatsoever, and the other thing I'm having with it is or the gripe is, I think I mentioned it last week, is where are the PlayStation and PC folks that are out there saying that they will help Team Green? Because I have not been experiencing that when I'm trying to do stuff solo and I put out an SOS. So there's none of that. None of those folks coming in to help out whatsoever. And when I use the quick match feature, I'm instantly kicked. It gives me vibes of the early days of Borderlands and Borderlands 2 when I would jump into matches and be insta-kick. It's kind of had... I think with Helldivers, like a lot of games that have open online or open crossplay, you can adjust the settings to friends only or friends list only or invite only, and they're not doing that. They're leaving it open to public, and folks like myself drop in, and those folks, those matches are expecting their a friend for their third or fourth member, and it's kind of hard, it puts folks like me off. And I recommend, if you're one of the few folks that are playing on Team Blue or Team PC, please adjust your settings if you don't want folks like myself that are on Team Green or those on other platforms that are new to the game jumping in to gain experience, to level up, and to enjoy the game, and maybe be able to play certain things by themselves. Because if it's very off-putting. One of the things I do like about Helldivers 2 is the aspect of you are able to give friends that are on other platforms a code to tell them, hey, it's you, and therefore they could, in essence, friend you on Helldivers 2, so you could all play together, team up, and do matches, and learn, grow, and have fun. I like that concept. That concept should be included more in other games. I know, especially with cross-platform. Especially cross-platform. Now that cross-platform is... now this is the second thing I want to do it. And two, for this folks out there wondering, this is the second time I'm trying to record this episode. And... so this section was, in essence, later, but didn't fit, so I had to go back and edit things. Behind the scenes note. But I think a lot of crossplay games don't realize that they should be doing this. And again, I realize that crossplay has been around for 5, 6, 8 years, something like that. And I don't know if Fortnite has it. I don't know if Rocket League has it. I don't know if other games like that, like Anthem and all those type of games, have it. But it should be a thing on a lot of these games that promote cross-platform. I know I say it with a little bit of bitterness, and it should be, because I have a lot of friends that, for whatever reason, they don't like Xbox, but they like playing on the PC, or they like playing on the PlayStation, but they are cool with their friends playing on other platforms, because gaming should be for everybody, for the exception of mobile gamers, because screw those guys, right? But we're in this together, we want to play together, and crossplay allows us to play together, and having games like Helldivers 2 is one of those ways we, as friends on different systems, can play together. I popped in, or I downloaded and played Aliens Fire Team, which is available on cross platforms, and I saw that even though this game came out prior to, I think, Helldivers, or along the same time frame as Helldivers 2, and they have a similar way of connecting friends across platform. So that is wonderful. Now, Borderlands 3 has a similar thing, or at least Borderlands implemented the same or similar thing with Borderlands when crossplay became a thing, and they introduced it with their game. Granted, it's not the best or the most secure, but it's there, and it's there with shift, meaning you could give somebody on a PC or a PlayStation or whatever you're gaming on the other platforms a shift code or a shift name, and you could play with them all day, every day. That implementation is key, and it allows everybody to play together, get along, and have fun. Hey, I understand you're on a PS5, or you play on Steam or Epic Play Store. Hey, give me your shift code, give me your number code for Helldivers. We'll play together. We'll get online, have some fun. So that's the thing. But the downside is you don't see this on games like Battlefield or on Call of Duty, or I'll include it, Gears of War Reloaded. Why do I say these things? Well, because though Battlefield and with Call of Duty, they're mostly multiplayer games, or most of the focus for the games is multiplayer. Call of Duty, at least with Call of Duty Warzone, I'll include this with I'll go back this far with Call of Duty World War II, Call of Duty Warzone, or not Warzone, Call of Duty Cold War, and Call of Duty 6. They all have a campaign mode, and if that campaign mode has co-op, why can't I send me being Team Green, I could invite my friends to play co-op for that campaign. But the game has crossplay, but only for multiplayer. And it's not a hodgepodge. It's a hodgepodge. It's meaning if you go into a match with your friends that are on Xbox, PlayStation, or Steam, you're only playing with your friends on that platform, but that match, you're going to play up against a combination of Xbox players or players on different platforms. My suggestion is that you should be able to, again, do that code, have that code, send it out, so you could have an internal friends list that is like a social friends list for that game, so you're able to have friends across platforms. Like Sasha, the Princess of Darkness, will be getting a PS5 shortly, and one of the games I think she'll be picking up is Borderlands 4. So with Shift, we could play together in co-op, and through apps like Discord, Facebook Messenger, or FaceTime, we could chat and coordinate. And plus, if I have friends that I'm playing with on Xbox Live, I could put in an earpiece, a headset, have my Xbox friends in one ear, and have my Sony friends in the other ear coming through Facebook Messenger via a Bluetooth. So that's wonderful. That's great. Or if we could all, instead of going on Xbox Live, all connect. If we're all friends on Facebook, we could hop on Messenger and chat that way. So why isn't this cross-platform social network, whether it be like similar to Shift or similar to a number code, being implemented cross-platform as well? So I could play a campaign in Call of Duty or Battlefield and play with friends. Why wasn't this system implemented for Reloaded? It should have been there. It should have been in there. So, and Microsoft implemented or promoted Reloaded, Gears of War Reloaded as cross-platform. Then why didn't you put in a code? Why didn't you put a code so the folks that I know that are playing on Sony PS5 can play this game with me in co-op? Golly gee, I want that feature. it's a downer. I kind of enjoy Gears of War. I'd love to play through the first game again completely. I don't think I really completed the first game. Second game, yes, but and the third game probably, but not the first game full all the way through. But hopefully, yeah, I'll probably put it up on Twitter mentioning Xbox, but I doubt they'll see that coming from this 2-bit podcaster that has barely 160 subscribers on YouTube. So there's that. And yeah, we talked about Helldivers 2 and what we thought of it. But the next little bit of controversy that is out there is the game Hollow Knight Silksong. That's right, this is, for those who don't know or not familiar with the game or the controversy, I'll get into it, but Silksong is the second game in the series. Hollow Knight came out maybe 6 or 7 years ago, but it's been highly regarded. It's a Metro style type of game. Silksong is the similar type of gameplay, and now, even though I tried Silksong for a little bit, didn't really get into it. Main reason is I'm not into that type of gameplay. I'm not knocking it at all. I see why people are enjoying it, and what happened within the first few hours, first 24 hours of this game dropping, Silksong dropping on at least 3 of the 5 stores that are out there. I'm talking about the 3 that I'm familiar with, that I at least heard of, is Steam, Xbox, and Nintendo. Those 3 stores crashed from the number of folks trying to purchase and download this game. And from what I've been told, 10 million people across the platforms purchased this game and launched it way into epic proportions. Like I said, the playstyle is not really for me, but if I had a lot of time and patience on my hand, would I get into it and discover all the nooks and crannies for it? And yeah, I'd do that. And for those of you who might not know about the Metroid style of gameplay, it takes the basis on, on this skill set, I'm only able to go so far, and there's some, if you upgrade some skills and get some items to either jump higher or go farther, so forth and so on, or duck and roll, or dig down. Yeah, that's where the Metroid style is, and that's where it incorporated in on this. Now, where the controversy is, now granted, again, this game, Hollow Knight Silksong sold 10 million copies within the first 24 to 48 hours, and crashed at least 3 systems. So I've been told. Now, where the controversy is, again, is that this game cost $20. I am pulling it up right now. It cost full, if I were to buy it right now, it is $20 if I had the cash. Yeah, is it worth $20? Yeah, it's definitely. I'd say it's definitely worth $20. It's got great graphics. The gameplay handles very well. Again, it's not my style. I'm more of first-person shooter or third-person shooter. I'm a shooter type of guy. If not, depending on the style, I'm an RPG type of person. But it's not. But for the price, it's something I'd pick up. Heck, the first game is like $12, $15. So it's for $35, you pick up both games. Yeah, it's something that, I'd pick up, but it's $20. So, yeah, that's what people are bitching about. It's not the players that are bitching. It's the game devs, the 2K, the Activision, the Gearbox, the the other gaming platforms, the Blizzards, the other studios, the AAA studios that are bitching and complaining about this game. Not PC users, not PlayStation users, not Nintendo users, not Xbox users. It is the game devs. Why? Because this game was $20 and made money. And it's pretty much just from what the folks that have been shouting what I'm about to say, I'm wholeheartedly agreeing with it because it is facts. And because I'm agreeing with it, and those who are expended on this argument, they're cooking. And those denying this and bitching about this Team Cherry being success. The Team Cherry is the studio that put out Hollow Knight Silksong. Yeah, they cooked every AAA gaming studio. Why? Because they have no more than 5 to 10 people in their studio, and this sold 10 million copies at $20. $20. Now you have to remember, it's the Randy Pitchfords, it's the heads of 2K, Gearbox, which is again Randy Pitchford, the heads of Blizzard, all these major studios that say, especially Nintendo, hey, games have to be $70, $80, $90, $100, and they have to constantly go up year in, year out. And if, what kind of games could you buy that are really good, that are under $60, $70, $80? Well, Hollow Knight Silksong for one, and Team Cherry just proved that, because $20. Team Cherry pretty much said, hey, you don't have to play this game. All you need is two $10 bills. That's it. And they pretty much went, hey Randy, you remember when you said unless you have $80, $90, you're not a real fan of Borderlands? Guess what? Petridge Farm remembers, and so do we. We'll steal all your fans that that you say are not real Borderlands fans, and we'll make them Team Cherry fans. So, yeah, I'm mocking Randy Pitchford on this, but $10 million, it launched the game to like the top number one spot. In that top spot is, again, Hollow Knight sings Silksong. You have underneath that like Helldivers, you have Borderlands 4, and you have like 2 other games. But have a $20 game, $20, and Team Cherry proving you don't need $100 million budget for a game. You don't need a studio of 100, 200, 300, 400 people working on a game to make a game, 1, successful, 2, it have to be expensive. They proved a lot of things wrong. So now let's, am I happy for Team Cherry? Yes, I'm very happy for them. And maybe down the line, maybe next year, will I pick up Hollow Knight, the first Hollow Knight game and Silksong? Maybe I will, especially maybe later this year when there's a sale or combo sale and they're offering everything for sale. Yeah, I might pick that up, especially if I have a couple extra points to turn in for credit to make everything even a deeper discount. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll pick it up, and maybe one day when I'm bored of Borderlands 4, bored of Final Fantasy or something like that, I can try to get into it, and maybe I'll stream it and whatever or what have you. But that's beside the point. But I'll have it in my collection to play in the future, and I'll be honored to have Hollow Knight, the Hollow Knight series, in my playlist. So to kind of move along with what I was talking about in regards to earlier this podcast, yes, I know it's running long, and I have a tendency to rant, rave, and so forth and so on. And thank you for all making this this far. Now let's get into the main meat and potatoes of this episode, and that is Borderlands. With Borderlands coming out in just a few days, by the time this drops on both on the audio side and on the YouTube side, it will be about, depending on when you listen to this, 48 to 72 hours from the time of this release. That's right, or even less, depending on what version of Borderlands 4 you pick up. Because the PC, from what I've been told, the PC users will be able to play Borderlands 4 12 hours sooner than those on a console. That's right, if you pre-ordered the game on either Steam or Epic Play Store, you'll be able to play it on 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, here Eastern Standard Time, on Thursday, the 11th, and at midnight, as soon as that clock ticks to Friday, in essence, 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you'll be able to play Borderlands 4 on the console. Yeah, I can't wait until I get home on Friday or that Thursday night to wait until the clock clicks over to 12:01 so I can officially play Borderlands 4 on my console. So what do I expect for this game? I expect it to be bigger. I expect it to have some issues. What they are, I don't know. In regards to everything, I'll give you a full rundown after having a few days to play with it, fiddle with it, go with the ins and outs. But with a lot of the footage I've seen from those who got were allowed to play it early, there is a lot of ins and outs and a lot of the back end of the stuff, meaning the skill trees and what you can do and what you can't do, is very complicated, and I want to get my hands on it to see if it actually is that complicated and if it is worthwhile. One of the issues I had with a lot of the earlier games, not so much with the Borderlands 3, but with the pre-sequel and not so much 2, but maybe later games 2, maybe like the Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, and so forth and so on. The higher play levels, I might have had issues, but yeah, that's what I'm kind of worried about. It's the issues I had with Wonderlands and the pre-sequel. That is that I'm hoping this Borderlands 4 doesn't have those issues. What am I talking about? Is that I'll talk about it here. The pre-sequel and Wonderlands had the issue of we are a single-player game, and that should be a game that's more fun in co-op. But how they coded the game and how they presented the game was, again, we're a single game that should be more fun with co-op, but they worked it so you needed co-op to play. The main issue I had with Wonderlands is that the game was so tough to play normally. If you literally had to play it on, set the settings to like ultra easy in order to make your way through the game, because if you played it on normal single player, you'd get your ass handed to you left and right and center. Heck, me, when I was playing this game, Wonderlands, with a friend on my PS4, we were going up against bosses, and we were literally having our asses handed to each other, left, right, and center, on normal. We had to kind of hold out and do as much damage as we could so the other person could respawn, get into the match, so we could die and get respawned so we could come in and help out. And therefore keep that cycle going until we were able to defeat that boss. And it just kept worse and worse and getting worse and worse and worse as you progress through the game. And I'm hoping that's not the issue with Borderlands 4. I hope to God that ain't the issue with Borderlands 4. Because that was never the issue with Borderlands 2 or Borderlands 3 or even the first Borderlands game. Because playing single player was awesome during those games. And the game was even more fun with friends. The more friends you had, yes, the tougher the game could be, but the more fun you had. The only issues were like the raid bosses. Yeah, they were extremely tough, especially on single player. You needed the right build, you needed, or the right number of friends, so forth and so on. But still, you had fun. You were able to complete the main game. I hope that's not with this, but where the ins and outs and the issues will be, it's probably why we will never, ever, even though we probably had the chance to sign up for the influencer program and get access to the game on our console early so we could play it and stream it and get it out there and let you know our thoughts, but we were kind of slackers and we completely forgot all about it. And the other thing is, at least I tend to shoot from the hip, and I don't care. I'll tell you where you stand with a game, no matter what, to your damn face. And if what someone like Morning After Kill stated like earlier this year and late last year that part of the contract to be an affiliate is that you couldn't badmouth Gearbox or 2K in any way, shape, or form. Meaning, if there were issues with the game or stuff you didn't like, you had to keep it to yourself, because if you did, you'd lose that paycheck. And earning extra money would have been great, would have been wonderful, and would have helped us out. But us saying, hey, I don't like this aspect, I don't like the fact that you could, you need extra people to play this to help you out. Or I don't like this feature, I don't like that feature. Yeah, that would have hurt everything. There are some features that I do like. It looks like they're issuing like a grapple aspect that should prove interesting. The fact that we're getting additional Vault Hunters later on, at least one, if not more. We'll have to see. That should be good. They're doing. I don't know how the mechanics are going to work, but from what I'm hearing, it's like you don't really have to pick up ammo or extra grenades for that function. Or if you have a heavy weapon like a rocket launcher or again the grenades, it's something that will recharge in time. Not you don't have to go around searching for additional rockets or grenades. You just have to wait until things recharge. But my main thoughts right off the bat is, looks like they want to be a Destiny clone, whereas Destiny is kind of going downhill. They're trying to, they're looking at Destiny or Destiny players and saying, hey, guess what? We understand that Destiny is a shit show right now, so come over to us. We will, we got you if you like the whole exo suit type person. We got one of those. We got a lot of our stuff that we have right now is comparable to what you're playing right now. So come on over. We got you. We got you. But I get it. I tried to get back into Destiny 2 a couple of times, and my God, for me to, I think I mentioned on the audio side of things that with Destiny 2, it's no longer hop in. Within 5 minutes, you're going up against a raid boss, and from what I've been told, it's a 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour, 8 hour raid section before you get to that boss and actually have that raid battle. So just let's pay some 20 iridium. Let's get on going. And so that's fun. That's cool. I say it's more. Borderlands has always been easier to get into. So as you can tell, I'm getting to Borderlands recap so far. Where Destiny and Destiny 2, where it's we'll only give you a couple of grains of good stuff, or like the times I've played Destiny and Destiny 2 and done the earlier raid bosses, and you're lucky if you receive anything or anything worthwhile. There's been times where I remember getting to the final raid boss when this was when the game just came out, and I understand it's still kind of an issue that you could defeat a raid boss and practically get nothing. Literally get nothing, meaning that, oh yeah, you're just getting some cash and you're getting some ammo in the chest, and that's it. Or the boss drops just some ammo and it's just a bullet sponge, and you spent like another 2 hours trying to defeat this thing after trying to get there for 5 hours, 6 hours. And yeah, where in Borderlands, that same boss is dropping 40, 50 guns, plus ammo, plus ammo and cash on top of that, and maybe Iridium on top of that. So you have a lot going for Borderlands. And I remember when Borderlands first came out on the Xbox, I think back in 2010, early 2010, a lot of my friends were getting into Borderlands. They were enjoying the gameplay, enjoying what Gearbox and Borderlands just released. And I kept, the times that I would go into GameStop, I kept seeing, I was like, what's this cell shaded stuff? And what was being, the trailers and the stuff being shown to me didn't really catch my eye. It was no interest in it, and my friends kind of convinced me. It's like, dude, please, ignore the trailers, ignore the ads. It doesn't do the gameplay justice. You'll get a kick out of it. The playstyle is very unique. It's very different. It's awesome. You'll have a good time. Plus, we're all playing it. So I went to GameStop. They did have a used copy for like $50. It was still going for like $60 at the time. Picked it up, brought it home, popped it in, started playing. And it turned out I was wrong. The game was fun. It felt broken, but it also felt not in a bad way. It felt broken in a good way. And I enjoyed it. I honestly enjoyed it. I enjoyed the quirks that the game had. I enjoyed the difficulty aspect. And there's some things I didn't like. The constant, I'm going the equivalent of a mile to do a mission, and I have to pretty much walk all the way that mile back to redeem it. Or the mission was like a 3-step process. I had to walk each section, just walk back and forth, and it just that was the only issue. But I still had fun. The DLCs were very big, and they were huge DLCs, and they were cheap, $20 at most, and you got a lot for your money. Even though even back then you were only limited to 4 Vault Hunters. So yeah, I had fun, and it was my first experience with the modding community. I was like, when I did set my matches to the public, and folks were coming in with modded weapons and so forth and so on, I kept booting them out of like fear. Like, hey, if Xbox sees the fact that I'm playing with somebody with modded weapons and in essence cheating in the game, I could get my account banned. Holy shit. So I kept, kicking them and, reporting them for cheating. I feel so bad about it now, though, until I hopped into a match and they were going after the raid boss. And they were like, we're happy you're here. And I was like, okay. And it's like, do you mind if we go after Carmax? Go after the raid boss? I was like, sure, cool. But as you can see, I'm only a level at, X. I'm nowhere near max level. They're like, don't worry, we'll help you out, dude. By the way, do you want a shield or do you want a gun? I'm like, what? Yeah, the modded, dude. I'm like, isn't that cheating? dude, you don't understand. I was like, dude, I don't want to get caught cheating. That's like, you're right. Microsoft doesn't like cheaters. They don't like that. But Gearbox is different, dude. Gearbox has an understanding with its players. They want you to mod. They don't care. They want you to have fun. So do you want a gun or a shield? You know what? Screw it. You're getting both. Gear up, dude, and let's defeat Gearbox, and you get all your stuff. You'll get like a crap ton of money. Don't worry about it, dude. Don't worry about it. And by God, I had so much fun. They were right. You know, again, you had that wonderful group of folks that changed my mind. We had fun. We kept killing Carmax time and time after time. We spent like over an hour. I ranked up all the way up to max. And I told them thank you. And we had a great time. After that, when my friends copped on, I got them ranked up. Got them... did the glitch where I was able to give them the modded weapons and retain mine, and everybody had a blast. Then one day I was playing with a friend of mine. He wanted to play legit. I don't blame him at all. And what happened was a guy came in. He started dropping a whole mess of mods, and my buddy was like, dude, I don't want that stuff. No, I'm playing legit. I'm like, okay. I picked it up. Now as of today, my Roland is somehow it's the only character that got sent to the cloud, so I could download. That's number one. Number two, and it's the most overpowered character I have. Legitly, it's the most overpowered character. It is God. It is not just S tier. It's God S tier. So, and that's what I like. Somehow I was surprised about that, was having access to that character when it came to transferring everything over. And we'll get into that in a second. 2 years later, in 2012, still had my 360, and at that time I was unemployed. I didn't have a new job yet. I wouldn't get one until about midway through that year. I had to use some refund federal refund money to put in for the pre-orders for the games I wanted. So that way, when I got back online, they could be available to me to download. And at that point, I was getting the hard copy of the game, so it wasn't really download or anything like that. But I put in the pre-order for the sequel. And by God, I was happy with the sequel. Whatever issues that they had with the first game, they kind of fixed with the second game. Plus, they came out with shift codes, and so forth and so on. Redeemed the keys that were put out on Twitter, and Facebook and Instagram, and sometimes there were different keys, and so forth and so on. And just played and grinded the game, and did the DLC, and had fun. And another year or two later, the pre-sequel came out, maybe a few months prior to the Xbox One. Now, Xbox One wasn't on my radar yet because I was still a little bit broke, so I had to get the 360 version of the game, of Borderlands pre-sequel. I played it on my Xbox. I finished it on my Xbox. Finished the DLC that came out for the most part on my Xbox. Redeemed the shift codes, so forth and so on. Had a blast. Had fun playing with some friends, and so forth and so on. Again, redeemed shift codes and everything. Now here's where the issue comes to play. About 2 years after the pre-sequel comes out, I get my Xbox One. My pawn shop find. The video will be, just search Xbox One. I don't know if I could put in a card or something, or a link down below in the description. But either way, I get my Xbox One. And at that time, I don't think there was any backwards compatibility with the 360 stuff. but I pick up the Xbox One versions of the pre-sequel and Borderlands 2. It was the Handsome Jack collection. And guess what? Even though I had a 360 at the time, did my save files from the when I was playing on the 360 go to the cloud? So I was able to download those files when I got the Handsome Jack collection. No. Turns out, even though I was playing, they didn't transfer anything. There was no way in. I don't think in the game there was a way to transfer save files to the cloud. And a lot of my friends said, yeah, they were automatically not my game files, not my saved games. So I had to play Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel all the way from the start. I couldn't pick up from where I left off. I had to play everything from the beginning, and that's what sucked. Was playing everything from the beginning, and plus, I had 0 keys. 0 keys. My keys did not transfer, my shift keys did not transfer over from the 360 to my Xbox One. And that pissed me off. Same shift code, same shift login, but nothing transferred. I was like, you son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. And the codes that Randy was releasing and Gearbox was releasing were codes that were put out for the 360, for the PS3, PS4. Even though it was like, hey, for the PlayStation, Steam, and here are the codes, they were the same codes that they put out for the original games, so I couldn't redeem them, which I thought was suck ass, because if you're treating me as a new user for the game, shouldn't these codes that you're sending also transfer over as well and be redeemed so I can build up my keys to play again? And again, me only having like not even 300 followers at the time, like Randy's going to listen to me, or Gearbox is going to listen to little old me. They don't even listen to me now that I'm a podcaster and I have about the same number of followers as is. So when they started to transfer over to, hey, this code works for every Borderlands game, every system, every Borderlands game, whether you have a PS4, PS5, PC, or Xbox, it works for everything. I started to build up keys again, and that was a good thing. That's something they changed that I am grateful for. Then came... Now here's the issue. Before 3 was released, and what I didn't like with the pre-sequel, like I said earlier on, is the aspect of it. Even though you could play the game through on single player by yourself, or through couch co-op, there were times that you needed a friend to play. And what a lot of folks, again, like with the Helldivers community, you'd have a lot of Borderlands players saying, hey, if you need help, we'll help you out, so forth and so on. Just jump in a game, we'll help you out, we'll help you grind, so forth and so on, X, Y, and Z. I jump in that insta-boot. Because again, like with Helldivers 2, you have people that don't adjust their settings on their game for either friends only or private. And it's just open to the public that anybody can jump in, and they don't like that, and they kick you out. There was one group for Borderlands 2. I jumped in to play for a little while. I was at a decent level, and I decided let me hop in a game. Yeah, in game I got mugged. Yeah, pretty much I got mugged because they were OP 10. I was a level like 35, 40, and that's the best way I can describe it. I got mugged in game, and I've had a lot of folks in the Borderlands community, the groups down on Facebook now, ask me, it's like, why don't you hop in? We're always happy to play. I'm like, I'll never do that again. I'll only be playing with friends. And they're like, what do you mean by that? I'm like, listen, when I played Borderlands 2 on Xbox, I got mugged. I was a low level. I wanted to get more experience, be at a higher level, try to get up to OP10, and yeah, they pretty much mugged me in game. And they're like, "Oh, that sucks. We don't." I'm like, "Yeah, tell me again why I don't want to. Why your Borderlands community is not toxic, yet it is." So, but some of the folks that I've met in the Borderlands 3 community and hopped in with, yeah, they're fun. They're cool. We've all got along. We've had fun. But kind of move along. When Borderlands 3 dropped, I was skeptical. I lost friends over it. I had friends that never touched Borderlands 3 again because a lot of the in-game mechanics that were going on, because they heard over my headset the ding, the ding, the ding, the sound for legendary drops. And somehow I was getting legendary drops. And even though I was enjoying the game playing, they fixed a lot of issues that they had with the aspect of between the pre-sequel and 3. But again, multiplayer was kind of sucky. Cross-platform, there was a lot of bugs. Even today, were not fixed and are not fixed. Cross-platform, me inviting somebody over from PC or PlayStation, within 5 minutes, the game will, either on my end, their end, or both will crash. Even on the same platform, playing together, the game will crash. But, yeah, that has to be fixed, especially going into 4. Hopefully they do fix that. But there were a lot of things I liked. But another thing I didn't like in regards to Borderlands 3 is that random number generator, or that RNG that would let you get the better weapons like the legendaries or the anointed weapons and so forth and so on. Because like in that one game that a friend of mine that I was playing with said, "No more, I'm out." Because he was hearing over my mic, because I had my speakers up, the ding for legendary and anointed. And I was like, "Oh, look, another legendary. Oh, look, another anointed. Oh, look, another legendary." And he's like, "That's it, I'm out." I'm like, "What's the matter?" "I'm getting nothing. I'm literally getting common weapons. I'm getting uncommon weapons. I'm not getting rare. I'm not getting anointed. I'm not getting legendary. I'm not getting diddly crap. I'm done. I'm out." And he said, "Not against you. I'm out with this game. I'm done." Simply because I was getting it and he wasn't. Now, I didn't know what he was talking about until I started playing Borderlands 3 on my PlayStation. Why did I switch from Xbox Team Green to Team Blue? Well, when you have several dozen people playing that's on one particular person's friends list on a particular platform, you get the messages of, "Can I play? Hey, 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 you on? Hey, 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 hey." And eventually it gets annoying. And especially when you have friends, when you are on a particular platform and all you want to do is sit down, watch Netflix, watch Tubi, watch Fandango, or watch whatever streaming service that I might have had on the platform, and just get my friend saying, "Oh, you're watching YouTube. Oh, you're watching Netflix. Oh, you're doing this. Oh, you're doing that. Oh, you're not playing the game I'm playing. Oh," I decided, you know what? I have a PS4. I went out. One of the pawn shops had PS4s on sale. I picked one up because I had the money for it at the time. I went out. I got a PlayStation Plus card because they were on the cheap. I got Borderlands 3, I got Wonderlands, and I was playing the games on those platforms with friends on that platform who didn't bug me when I was watching Paramount Plus, when I was watching Fandango, when I was watching Netflix. They didn't care. They understood. I just wanted to watch YouTube or Fandango or something like that. And I was playing with a friend that I worked with from FedEx on Borderlands 3, and all of a sudden he was getting all these legendaries. I wasn't getting diddly squat. I was like, "Dude, what the hell, man?" It's like, I'm not now I'm experiencing everything. And at one point, he got like three. The gun is called a lob, and it's like a very powerful shotgun, or one of the fun shotguns in the game. And I think he got three of these guns in a row. And I'm like, what? I was like, how'd you get this gun, 3 guns in a row? And we even went to the one boss that drops those guns. He got first drop on his end, the gun. We played the boss like 4 times. He got it another 3 or 4 times. I didn't get it once. I was like, holy shit, man. That fucking sucks. And he's like, dude, don't worry. I got you. Because of the mail system and the trading system, all he had to do was drop it. It was right in front of me. I picked it up. I thanked him. He was like, no problem, man. I got like 8 more. So there was no issue, but we were having fun playing. We went back to the game. I was like, but I understood that frustration with everything. There are times now that there are some sections of games I can't play. It's like, that I've been told, it's like, oh, these sections of games I can't play on single player. I need to play on multiplayer. Like, well, you have to visit that section of the map. I've been to that section of the map. And, yeah, I still don't have access to that section of the game for me to play it on single player mode. I have to have somebody on multiplayer to play it. But the downside is with Borderlands 3, do I play it every now and again? Sometimes, but again, my friends should be playing it. But again, the issue is they're not even playing it this far out. But between 3 and Wonderlands, Gearbox did something. They released a DLC from Borderlands 2 as a single player game, and that was Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep. Again, this was a DLC made for Borderlands 2, and they just released it as a standalone for $10 to help get everybody psyched for Wonderlands. So it had all the Borderlands 2 characters, and it was just that standalone DLC. It was one of the most popular DLCs that they had. And the issue that I had with this, even though I like it and you were able to fully experience the game on all aspects, but no one was playing. Again, it was one of those issues that no one was playing. Literally, no one was playing. And it was like a $10 game. No one was playing. And what also happened, Gearbox completely, as soon as Wonderlands dropped, Gearbox forgot about the standalone Dragon's Keep game that they released. They released it. Now, Dragon's Keep standalone was released with its own shift system, meaning you'd need keys specifically put out for Dragon's Keep to redeem in a chest in game. How many shift codes did they put out for Tiny Tina's Dragon's Keep standalone? 2 keys for 3 keys apiece, total of 6 keys. And they forgot about it. Just like the latest Telltale's game that they released maybe about a year or 2 ago. They put it out, it has shift system in it, and they forgot all about it. Just like the shift system in Colonial Marines. Did they release keys for it? No. So, but did they release keys for Wonderlands 3, 2, 1 and the pre-sequel? Yes. And it's one of the things I liked with the pre-sequel, not the pre-sequel, with the Game of the Year edition of Borderlands. Yeah, I did pick it up. Is that they put chests in the 2 main sections of the game that serve as your home base, like Sanctuary is. So that was very good in regards to what they did. I enjoyed that. So yeah, it with the Dragon's Keep aspect, and that's what a lot of even folks kind of ignore that are deep into Borderlands. One video I saw as of this recording is, there's 7 Borderlands games, that will be out. It's Borderlands, Borderlands 2, Borderlands 3, the pre-sequel, the Borderlands 4 that's coming out, and the 2 Telltale games. If you want to include, but if you want to include Wonderlands, it's 7 game. The 2 Telltale Borderlands, Borderlands 2 prequel, 3, 4, and the 2 Telltale 7, 8. If you want to include the Wonderlands. Well, technically 9 if you want to include the standalone version of Tiny Tina's Dragon Ski, but you want to forget about that because it was DLC. But either way, if you want to be technical, and I don't like how a lot of the community forgets about it, and even I've called out Randy about on Twitter. It's like, hey, what about keys for the standalone Dragon's Keep? You keep forgetting about that game, do you, Randy? And Randy's aspect is, I want to keep my mouth shut about that, not talk about it. And we'll get into a little bit of, then we had Wonderlands drop. Again, they went back to the pre-sequel aspect, and I've talked about that, where everything, the game itself was okay and kind of enjoyable, and I did like some aspects of the game, but there were a lot of other aspects that made you seem underpowered. I mean, severely underpowered as you went. You actually, it's like, oh, you need to be level 12 to be in this section of the game. Okay, you get up to level 12, and you're still like, well, why do I feel like I need to be a level 14 to get into this section of the game in order to progress, even though the enemies I'm fighting are level 4. If I was level 14, they'd be like level 15, level 16. And even, as I stated, fighting some of the bosses in-game, were way too powerful, way too strong. If you actually have to make sure the game is super easy for some of the bosses to even be beat on single player. Nonetheless, in co-op. The DLC I felt for... Did I complete all the DLC for Wonderlands? No. Why? Because they just felt like they were never as big as the ones released for Borderlands 3 or Borderlands 2. Heck, not even for the previous Borderlands games. They just felt way too short, way too small, and overpriced for what was offered. They were like $15, $20 for something that was maybe an hour long, and it was just like a blink, you missed it story. Whereas a lot of folks made the reference to that these were like, the DLC for Wonderlands were like the Headhunter packs that were released for Borderlands 2. Now, the Headhunter packs were just these brief little story things that Gearbox released for Borderlands 2. There might have been an hour or two gameplay for it, nothing too big, just something brief, at most an hour, half hour to an hour at most, depending on the level, and they cost, the DLC for these Headhunter packs cost $5, and folks were paying $20 for these DLC, the DLC for Wonderlands, for something similar that cost $5. So it was not worth it. The after game for it also didn't feel too good. It was just like a firefight type of ordeal. And again, if you weren't playing with friends, there's nothing for you to do, and nothing to progress. If you wanted to earn achievements in it, there's only a certain way to play that firefight aspect of Wonderlands to get those achievements and earn those levels. So, I never really returned to Wonderlands in any shape or form to kind of play it in more depth. And plus, I didn't have friends to play it with. And even to this day, none of my friends, additional friends, have picked up on Wonderlands and decided, hey, I want to play it. So I could go, hey, I could help you out. I'd love to play with you, because the game could get hard at times. So, that being said, let me move on to what happened last year, 2024. Now, but before I get into what happened last year and all that fun jazz, I'm going to touch on a little bit as to what Randy kind of said over the past, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months. Before continuing, I'm not going to go into too much in regards to it because I said a lot every time Randy opened his mouth and stuck his foot in it. And that is, some of you, and it seems even today, because as stated early in this episode, that the pre-sales for Borderlands 4 are in the top 5 games being sold right now. The pre-orders are that high. So everybody pretty much forgot what Randy said and how many times Randy put his stinking foot in his mouth over the past 6-8 months. And for those of you who've forgotten, yeah, Randy called y'all not real fans for not being able to afford the game being at that time announced at $80. That's right. He called you not. He called you. It's like, hey, I'm going to take the boomer rich person stance. I saved up. So if you can't save up for this game, you're not a real fan. You're not a real fan if you don't have $80 for it. You're not this. You're not that. How dare you? He even got mad when Epic Play Store released Tiny Tina's Wonderland for free for, I think, a week or for a few days. He got pissed. Oh, you're getting this game for free? What, you couldn't afford the full price for it? Oh, it's on sale. You had to get it for free? Like, mofo, please, man. Keep your freaking foot out of your mouth. And even the times when I talked about it on the audio side, here on the audio side, I was like, don't the PR team and the lawyers over at Gearbox and 2K, are they just sitting on their thumbs, or do they ever wander over to Randy's office and tell him, shut the fuck up, man. Shut the hell up. If you keep talking, this game is going to freaking tank. Keep your mouth shut. Alright? Keep it to the magic stuff. Keep it to everything else. Stop putting your foot in your goddamn mouth. We want this game to sell. So, over the past couple months, it seems like he's quiet down. I haven't heard that many times that he's done that. There's that. Now, there is something, a little bit of Borderlands I forgot to talk about, and that is the movie. You know what? I'm going to, instead of me rehashing what I said, and giving you the TDLR, I'm going to do one better. I am going to do a little bit of copy and paste. What do I mean? Well, here's what I said last year about the movie. Hey, One-Eyed Pete, roll that beautiful bean audio.
Starting pre-recorded audio now, sir.
I saw Sasha. She's paid me a surprise visit along with her significant other, and we were talking about Borderlands, and one of the things I told her, I told her, it's like, if I get a chance to see it, I'll try to see it day one. And she said, I'm going to try to see it that Sunday night, and hopefully we'll get to, get together through Zoom and talk about it. And I said, we both agreed that this movie is going to flop. And let me put it like this. It is Wednesday as I am putting this out, and Tuesday as I'm recording this. It grossed week one worldwide $16 million. If you want to round up, $17 million. And my thoughts are, one of the first things I said to Sasha was like, they're going to blame everybody but themselves, like a lot of people are going to do. Like everything, like what happened with 2016 Ghostbusters, like what's happening with happened with Little Mermaid, like what's going to happen with Snow White. They blame everybody but themselves. And it kind of started with earlier last week. And one of the things that happened was Jamie Lee Curtis retweeted a tweet of hers that she put out because I think she was in Everywhere, Everyone at Once, or whatever the movie was called. And because, let me put it like this, back when Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness came out, that movie also was out, and I think Jamie Lee Curtis was part of that, and she tweeted something like, yeah, we have the better movie, we have a better premise, and we did time travel and going through the multiverse better than you, and so forth and so on. And we had a better scene, and so she went back in her timeline, went back to that tweet, and when Deadpool and Wolverine came out, she decided, well, what's going to happen? She retweeted that, and I told Sasha, it's like, yep, there it is. She's already, she's ahead of the game, saying that, she's trying to knock it down, saying our movie's better because, in essence, kind of getting ahead of the game, saying, you don't need to, this movie's better, Borderlands is going to be better, X, Y, and Z, forget about Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine, go see Borderlands. And she pretty much took that tweet down. She got so much backlash, even by Ryan Reynolds himself, that she took the tweet down and it kind of issued an apology. And it was hysterical. Now, I told you the worldwide gross. I told you everything else. But my thoughts on the movie. Let me put it like this. If it wasn't based on a video game, if that game didn't have a whole mess of lore attached to it, this would have been a meh movie. Let me put it better, because I don't want to snip out and re-record the line. If this movie wasn't based on a video game that had some amount of lore attached to it, it would have been a meh movie at best. Or the fact that because of the action movie, or you could say, as a lot of people would have said, this would have been a good movie to have unplugged your brain and just watch. Similar to the the Fast and Furious movies. Are they good movies? No, they're not. But if you unplug your brain, they're okay and they're entertaining. This movie just felt rushed. It could have been rated R, but wasn't. And it, as I've told people, it felt like they took everything that was in the games, put it in a blender, fed it to somebody that they didn't know anything about the game. Somebody who didn't know it was a game, let them poop it out, and that's what we got. Because instead of holding their ground and saying, hey, let's create something that is somewhat attached to the movies or the games in some way, or something based on the games in some way, kind of like how the Telltale games were, or something along those lines, or close to the games, or attached to it, or adventure that they might have had somewhere, a part of it. No, they didn't, and they just let Eli Roth just running around doing his thing. It's a case of, yeah, do it, but don't. We need you to put this stuff in the movie because of fans, but everything else, ignore the lore, ignore, don't play the games, don't read anything about the lore, You don't need to know that, just write the movie. I agree with, I'm not knocking any of the actors or actresses that played in this, but they didn't fit the role. They were too old. Everybody was too old. Though the person who played Moxie seemed to fit. She was way too old. Like I said, everybody in this was in their 60s. If Terry Crews played Kevin Hart, yeah, I'd complain that, yeah, he's too old, but at least he fits more. The person who played Moxie in game, let me put it like this. Everybody in the game, for the exception of Moxie, is in their 20s. If not maybe early to late 20s at some point. Early 22. I think in game Lilith is like 24 at the start of the first Borderlands game. By the time Borderlands 3 hit, I think she's close to 30. Moxie is close to 40 in the game. By the time, if not 45, by the time Borderlands 3 comes out. The only one that seemed to fit the most was Marcus. And one of the things that I agree with some of the people that have kind of dissed this movie is the movie opens with Lilith narrating. They missed a whole opportunity to have Marcus narrate this like he's done with the games. They could have had him narrate. Like, hey, we want to tell you a story. You might have heard a bunch of other stories based on that. They're awful. You know what? It would have fit a hell of a lot better. The funny thing is that's my thoughts on it. But the other thing I want to say is, during this past week, with all the hate, with everybody complaining about it, Randy Pitchford has been having the most spasmodic fit about it, trying to deflect shit. And one of the main things, he even responded to me in one of the show, one of the responses I gave to him. Excuse me. One of the tweets he put out stated, now granted, this is his tweet, his words from a few days ago. I am so pumped to watch Borderlands with friends, family, and fans tonight at our premiere event in Dallas. What is this insane, crazy world? How did this cast and crew of incredible filmmakers get involved with our dumb little video game? Hope you all get a chance to see it. Now, I replied, the way things are going / looking, if you actually did what you said, and I were you, I'd be embarrassed as hell. Heck, just take them outside, toss a lit match into a dumpster, point to it, and say, that's the Borderlands movie. To which he replied to me saying, maybe that's the difference between you and me. Commit to what you work on and love the process. Find the stuff you love and lean into that. There's no room for embarrassment if you want to get anywhere. Pretty much he deflected. Now, the fun thing is, I replied to him in regards to this. Let me pull that up. Was, really? Explain why you're proud of putting a bunch of stuff from the game into a blender, ate it, and pooped it into a movie. As well as leaving a flash drive with porn on it in a place where anyone could find it. That's right, folks. This was months before Borderlands 3 was released. He left a flash drive in a bar on a urinal that not only had a full copy of Borderlands 3 on it, It also had a bunch of pornography on it. Yeah. And someone also replied to his reply, and it said, that person stated, "Are you going to be saying that when you lose more than $100 million because you can't actually make a good adaptation of a beloved series? Also, imagine blocking people just because they say their opinions about a movie. LOL." That's right. What happened was, on Monday, a bunch of people, everybody, and it wasn't just the critics. This movie on Monday had, like, I should say, as the movie dropped Friday, it debuted on Rotten Tomatoes at 0%. Literally at 0%. By the time the weekend was going through, it went as high as maybe about 12%, and I think it's back down to 9% as of Monday, or I think today, Tuesday. So, not only was folks like myself telling everybody that this is a bad movie, don't, wait, if you want to watch it, I'm not going to stop you. Wait, streaming, rent it, wait until it's on Paramount or Netflix or something like that. Don't pay movie theater prices for this at all. And if not, go to the Bay of Pirates and watch it there if you really want to watch it. Don't give, Lionsgate or anybody your money in regards to this. And that was the sentiment by a lot of people, including critics. And what did good old Randy Pitchford do? He blocked everybody. He didn't block us yet, but he blocked a lot of people. He even blocked a couple of YouTubers that were hired to promote not just Borderlands 2, but Borderlands 3. Some of which were being called shill. I'll put it like this. The YouTuber Morning After Kill was calling folks like Killer Slicks, Shiller 6, and another YouTuber known as Epic NNG shills, because they were, despite all the problems that were in Borderlands 3 and even some of the stuff that was in Borderlands 2 when it came out, the problems, they weren't acknowledging any problems or anything like that. They were just hyping up the game, saying this is a great game, and so forth and so on, all the while not really disclosing that they were paid thousands of dollars on a weekly basis, if not hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on a weekly basis, to say good things about the games. And when they decide to say, wait a minute, this is meh at best, but overall it kind of sucks, Randy blocked them. And when they went on kind of an alternate account, meaning they might own like 2 or 3 accounts, they went to like a different account. Because I think someone like Killer 6, or let's give someone like Killer 6 or Epic NNG the benefit of the doubt. They have a personal account and they have their YouTube account. Meaning, like I do, I have a personal account on Twitter and I also have my show's account. So they probably hopped on their personal account and say, hey, Randy, why'd you block Killer 6? Why'd you block Epic NNG? And his response was, and not to mention a couple of people that found maybe their fans as well, kind of bugged Randy. It's like, why'd you block Killer 6 and Epic NNG? And he just turned around and went, oh yeah, it was an quote-unquote accident. This is not like... And a lot of people called him out on that shit too, and roasted him over. It's like, wait a minute, this is not like you accidentally liking or bookmarking a post and going back and undoing it. You have to take some steps to block somebody, and makes it more and more funny. Not to mention, we also got news right before Borderlands came out that Boll, the infamous director that made a lot of bad video game movies like House of the Dead and Alone in the Dark and a bunch of others that were really, really bad. It was rumored that he came out of retirement, and something. I was like, wait a minute, Uwe Boll came out of retirement? Oh yeah, I know why. Because Borderlands is so bad, he has to come out of retirement just to show Eli Roth and Randy Pitchford actually how it's done. So that's my thoughts on regards to this right now.
Our pre-recorded content has ended, so let's go back to the Geek Privateer podcast.
Thank you, Pete, for letting me know everything has ended, and it gives me a chance to jump in here because it seems like I forgot to tell you some of the things I did like. The how they did the gun systems, like the inventory systems in the movie. I like how they incorporated few of the Easter eggs, how they had the skins, or like the head skins that you could have done in game, especially in Borderlands 3. But all in all, I say this because I don't think I mentioned it at all. Or when you come to here, and you'll hear one of Pete say the same thing in a moment, or similar things in a moment, especially when we hear Sasha's take on everything, because about a week after that, I did get a hold of Sasha, and she did get a chance to see it, and she had her opinions. I did ask her if she minded me rehashing those opinions for this episode. She went, nah, go ahead, you're all good. So we're going to do that right now and trying to get into it. And I did I did listen to this a little bit more, and I did get into Boll's statement and my thoughts on that a little bit more on that. So here's that next clip containing Sasha's take on it and her thoughts and me adding to those thoughts. So again, One-Eyed Pete, roll that beautiful bean audio.
Starting pre-recorded audio now, sir.
We have to talk about something that I don't know how to describe. It's either being an STD that you can't cure right now, or it's a rabid dog that the community or the fan base somehow has to put down. And that being Borderlands. Yes, why am I talking about Borderlands? Still, it's on my mind. There's a lot of other shit on my mind that I should be talking to you guys and gals about other than Borderlands. But Borderlands is still making news. As of me recording this, Tuesday, the 20th, I still got this news being talked about. Now, there's other things I'm going to go into, because I didn't think I put it in last week's episode that in regards to me talking about Borderlands and telling you guys the shit show dumpster fire STD that was Borderlands the movie. One of the things that did come out when the movie was being released is that two of the folks that worked on the movie in regards to Claptrap, whether it be any physical effects or practical effects or digital effects for Claptrap, they weren't credited. They came out and said, we watched the movie. We brought family to the movie so we could watch the credits and point to that section and say, see, we're in the credits, only to find out they were not listed. They were shafted. And that's sad to find out, hey, you worked on the movie. You spent God knows how many hours, only to find out, or possibly promised, hey, you're going to be in the movie. Come on down. Come on down to the preview. Here's free tickets. Only to watch this hour and a half movie that costs $115 million plus another 20th, maybe $140 million, $150 million movie, in order to find out everybody that worked on it, the higher ups decided, you know what? Fuck these two people. We're not going to put them in. We forgot about them. Or whatever reason, Randy Pitchford, because he was one of the executive producers, decided, you know what? Because I randomly hate people and I want to ban people for, block people on Twitter because they had negative reviews of my money. Or maybe these two people were fans of the movie and, or are happy that they're working on Claptrap. And, it's like, maybe this is, they saw most of this movie and were saying, how much of a dumpster fire this movie's going to be. Randy overheard it and said, you know what? I'm not putting their names in the movie. So, that being said, not to mention that, we find out that because this movie is 2 weeks old, that the first week, globally, it made like $16 million. And this week, domestically, it made another like $2.5 million. So worldwide, I've been hearing worldwide total for the past 2 weeks that Borderlands, the movie, made worldwide a total $20 million. That's right, it made $20 million worldwide. Yeah, they ain't making their money back big time. What happened? Well, at least, where's that money going? That's Borderlands thought, Gearbox and Randy Pitchford and Lionsgate thought they were going to make a shit ton of money over the past 2 weeks. Where's all that, all the fans and, going to for this? Yeah, they're watching Deadpool and Wolverine on repeat, or in the case of this past week, they're watching Aliens Romulus, which we'll get into in a little bit, because there's a whole mess of stuff we got to talk about. Plus, in this segment, we're going to give you a treat. The other thing is, because this movie has been a dumpster fire, with everybody from critics to fans ragging on it like a son of a bitch, and it didn't make anything. It's going, by the end of the month, if it doesn't leave theaters this week, it will be gone by the end of the month. Not to mention, at the end of August, it's going to streaming. Where it's going to end up on streaming, whether it's going to end up on like Paramount Plus or HBO or Netflix by the end of the month, I don't know which platform it's going to be on, but it's going to be on a streaming platform by the end of the month. If not, it's going to be on services like Fandango or Amazon Prime for sale at the end of the month, where that's usually the first place a lot of places go. But since this movie is such a shit show and not making any money, it's going... I would be surprised as Netflix doesn't pick it up first. Or, it doesn't go to a service like Paramount Plus or HBO Max first. Or even Peacock, for that matter. But... not to mention, because of all this, and thinking that they could possibly distract everybody as to kind of gaslight them away from the movie. There's a convention that is happening now called Gamescom. And during this convention, Gearbox officially announced, well, I won't say officially, they've been kind of quote-unquote officially announcing it for the past 2 months now. But at this particular convention, they dropped a teaser trailer. And right now, even though there was some like, oh my god, they're dropping the trailer. Oh my god, they're actually... Don't act fucking shocked. They've been talking about it and letting everybody know for the past 2 months. 3 months they've been telling everybody, oh, Borderlands 4 is going to be a thing. Borderlands 4 is going to be a thing. Don't act like, oh, and the fans were like, oh my god. Yeah, they probably gave you con money to do that. And a lot of people, and I agree with some of the haters that are in this. Does that make me a hater too? Quite possibly. I don't care. I don't give a fuck. That this could be the trailer. I'll say this, kind of be as neutral as I can. This was just a teaser trailer, and the concerns are, and I'll agree with the concerns. Because the teaser trailer was not cel shaded, didn't show any gameplay, it was just a teaser trailer. It was just way too what's the game engine? Quake, the Quake game engine, Unreal Game Engine is what I was thinking of. It was Unreal Game Engine. A lot of people pointed out that looks like they used assets from the movie to put this trailer together, and it seems like some of the people are also saying or asking why is Gearbox double downing on a Borderlands game that was in essence a failure, that they also pretty much decided, we don't want to touch this anymore. And that is the second Tales from Borderlands game that pretty much was released like a year or two ago. And so far, yes, this game, this new Tales of the Borderlands game, has can have shift codes and stuff like that. Have they issued shift codes for this game? As far as I know, they only released one shift code for this game. Kind of like what they did with the standalone DLC of Tiny Tina's Dragon's Keep DLC, which they did before the Tiny Tina's Wonderlands game. They released, for those folks, though, I know I'm going on a tangent. Don't worry, you're going to get that treat at the end. Just bear with me. What happened was, before Tiny Tina's Wonderlands came out, they decided to pull Tiny Tina's Dragon's Keep DLC from Borderlands 2 and kind of give it a little polish and make it a standalone game as a way to promote Wonderlands. And they issued like 2 shift codes for this game and promptly forgot they made this standalone game. Literally, they forgot. And so that's the thing about this. They forget about this new Telltale's game. They put it in the Tales from Pandora bundle, but shift codes and everything else. But we're going to use this one little thing from the game that not many people have played to kind of hint at and bolster to kind of tease this. Really? So a lot of people are kind of worried about this. Not to mention, Gearbox is stating, or 2K is stating, that this game will be dropping next year in 2025. Pretty much the same year, or a lot of people are speculating it's going to be dropping the same time as Grand Theft Auto 6, GTA 6. And if that be the case, oh dear God, my guess is, if that's be the truth, they're going to drop this game roughly the same time as GTA 6. That they're going to do that to kind of prelude that they know that the game is a shit show. It's going to be a failure. Nobody's going to like it, and they're going to put it next to a game that they know is going to be, no matter what, a success. But so they could point the finger. Kind of like what they did with the movie. Like right now, they're pointing at Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh, that movie's a success. That's why we're sucking. Our movie doesn't suck. It's because we have this blockbuster of a movie that came out last week that people are watching. That's why ours isn't doing well. Is it because your movie just overall sucks? Now that Aliens Romulus is out, and spoilers for, or should I say,
spoilers.
Alien Romulus made $100 million globally this past weekend, and it just came out. But for you out there that want to know in regards to domestically here in the United States, it made about 46 million. But that being said, also, let's get back to Borderlands. It's come out, and a lot of people have pointed out in the trailer and in the movie, there's a scene where they open up a hatch, and it looks like you could see a crew member, like the people filming, a member of the film crew, helping open the hatch. And several people, including Randy himself, have stated, no, that's not a crew member opening up the hatch. That is Brick. And some people are saying that kind of are part of the movie. No, it's not Brick. It's Mordecai. And here I am saying, because I'm like, motherfucker, there better be deleted scenes. If this is going on like Fandango or Netflix or not Netflix, Fandango or places where it's sold, whether it be Xbox or Xbox Live or PlayStation or Fandango or Amazon Prime, there better be motherfucking deleted scenes with this bitch. Because if not, it's a crew member, motherfucker. Pure and simple. Pure and fucking simple. Not to mention that better be an R-rated. People have coming out saying, we don't know why this is a PG-13 film. We made content for this film that was like a gore fest. Not to mention, there were so many issues with this film. They wanted to make it PG-R. They gave Eli Roth permission to pretty much write the film as not stick to the lore and everything else. I think I said this last week. Stick to the lore. This is the lore. Do it. And like, no, I got my own ideas for this. And someone came out. Someone who wrote. He wrote for The Last of Us, and they butchered. I think he wrote the movie. He wrote a screenplay for the movie. They used it. Eli Roth rewrote it or butchered it, or the studio butchered it to the point that they said, you know what? Take my name off and use a synonym. Use something else for this. So that's that whole thing. So I thank you for listening to me this far. Here is the first treat for all of you, and that is, I promised that you'd hear Sasha talk about this. I promised you that, and I told you guys and gals out there that, hey, I'll have Sasha on the show. It was going to be like the good old days of last year where we'd have this back and forth and so forth and so on. But the spot that she is at right now, her internet is so bad. She was telling me that if we did record, if we recorded like a 2-hour show, like what we used to do, or a 2.5-hour show, we'd be recording for 5 hours because her internet where she's at right now is so bad. It would be technical difficulties after technical difficulties after technical difficulties. And she didn't want that to happen. So I asked her, I was like, listen, I still want to know your thoughts. We have a bunch of people that want, I have an audience that misses you. I'm sure you guys and gals out there miss Sasha, the Princess of Darkness. And I said, listen, do what you need to do. Use your phone, record me something, and, record me your tidbits and so forth and so on, and I'll find a way to include them on the show. So that's what she did. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and ghosts who wish to listen to this program, here's Sasha, the Princess of Darkness, thoughts on the Borderlands movie. But before I forget, for those of you who haven't seen the Borderlands movie and are waiting for it to come on streaming so you don't really have to pay anybody money for it, let me just include this little bit of warning before we continue.
Spoilers.
So for starters, let me say, watching Borderlands made watching Twister infinitely better. Because Twister is a sequel, or Twisters rather, is a sequel to, of course, the Twister from the 90s. Now, the thing of it is obviously somebody went into the studio and pulled a James Cameron and wrote the word Twister, and then put an S beside of it, and then may turn it into a dollar mark. And that's what sold the studio potentially on making the sequel. Of course, somebody said, "Excuse me, sir, this is a Wendy's." Because the only thing in the sequel that even comes up is the university from the first movie, as well as the Dorothy apparatus from the first movie, even though it's been upgraded and it's been improved. But literally, watching Borderlands after watching Twister, or Twisters, you should just call it Twister. It could have just been a straight-up remake for all it mattered, because none of the original characters returned. They weren't even, spiritual successors. I was kind of hoping that the lead actress's, mom would have been, Helen Hunt from the first Twister, but no. But they did their own thing for a sequel, and that's cool, and they did have playbacks to the original. So that kind of works. Kind of works as a side story, It doesn't affect the plot of the first movie, and you can watch Twisters without watching Twister. Borderlands made watching that better, and that is the only redeeming quality I can think of for this movie. I mean, Borderlands in and of itself was just a bad move. Number one, you cast Cate Blanchett as Lilith, okay? And then you try to be all cool and cocky and create this story around Lilith that has nothing to do with Lilith or the Sirens. I mean, it does, but it doesn't, because it's not anything like the games. To me, it's why take a well-loved character from the game and then tack 30 years to him just for fun? Not only that, but Tannis, Patricia Tannis, you cast Laurie Strode, her fucking self, to play Patricia Tannis. It's come on, she's a scientist that's later revealed to be a siren also. And it has nothing to do with being a daughter of Pandora. It just means somebody that, the Iridians felt was the embodiment to help combat the vaults. But anyways, long story short, clearly there was a lot of studio interference here. So you got Cate Blanchett as Lilith, bad move. You got Kevin Hart as Roland, really bad move, because, you got a really, really short actor to play the big, beefy soldier tank of a man from the first game. And, it makes sense. You want to have characters from the first game. The first game, it would have been a great place to build, because let's be honest, the first game, plot-wise, do you really remember who the villain was? I mean, yeah, it was Dahl and the Crimson Lancers, but, at the end of the day, there was General Steel, but we get another Nox character instead of Steel. Why didn't we just make that chick Steel? But, again, minor grievances. And even Steel was kind of a last act villain. Dahl really didn't get into the game until later on to open the vaults in the game. So there was kind of a lack of a plot for the original one, and they could have tried to do something with that story. But, oh, no, Hollywood, we have to make our own story that pretty much shits all over the game. Then you have Tiny Tina. The character's spot on. I love the actress. The actress did a great job. But Tiny Tina is not a fucking clone. Her parents were experimented on with iridium from from Hyperion Corporation. And that, did horrible things to her parents, and she was able to escape. There's a fan theory that, of course, Krieg is supposed to be her dad, and he just can't remember because of all the experiments. And speaking of Krieg, Krieg, our boy, is perhaps the only one that they kind of did right, aside from, the inner voice. And Krieg would have been a great story opportunity, but why are we dragging characters in from 2? We're dragging in characters from several different games within the franchise. I get it. They made it early known that this was going to be a side story, that this was going to be separate from everything else. But that doesn't mean, shit all over the games. You can use these characters as background characters. There are several games that do that. Borderlands 2, Lilith is an NPC. Same way with all the original Vault Hunters from the first game. The third game did the same thing. Tales from the Borderland had them as NPCs that showed up later on with Brick and can't remember the sniper guy. But you could have just had those characters as background characters. Marcus was wonderful. Gina Gershon as Mad Moxie, I don't know. I don't know. She was a brilliant actor or actress 20, 30 years ago, and she would have been perfect for the role Moxie. But again, we are aging people significantly up. And yeah, it just was okay, well, let's take the bare bones of the story, do our own thing with it, but fuck it up. And here's the thing, they stole elements from 2. They did not take, the best villain from 2. Easily you could kind of tell that there was hints and winks and nods toward this guy being similar to Handsome Jack. He kept talking about finding his daughter, who we later find out supposedly Tiny Tina, but is not Tiny Tina because Tiny Tina is a clone from blood that was found on a vault key. Fucking stupid. But she doesn't wind up opening a vault anyways, because surprise, Lilith is a siren. It's anybody who's played the games already knows all this shit. This is not a surprise to anybody who literally paid money to see this movie. I paid money to see this movie, but I went to a movie theater that had alcohol, and I did see Twisters before it. I made sure it was a place that served alcohol just for that reason. And alcohol did not make the movie any better. It was a total missed mark, and it was shocking, because there for a while, it was a big deal that, Eli Roth was going to make this movie. So Eli Roth, and all of a sudden everybody went quiet about Eli Roth's involvement. And I think that's when studio involvement got involved and said, no, we're making this movie PG-13, fuck you. Because we want to sell this to kids, because it's an action, a sci-fi movie. Maybe have action figures. Yeah, if you wanted to sell this to fucking kids, where's the popcorn bucket? Huh? Where's my claptrap popcorn bucket? Where's my loot chest popcorn bucket? In fact, where the fuck are loot chests in the entire movie? I think maybe one may have been a background element, but Jesus Christ. Yeah, the guns were cool, but they weren't even emphasized, It's fucking crazy, There are certain things that, yes, I get wouldn't make sense in a movie and would need to be omitted, but not the entire fucking plot or the structure. They could have took the first game and made a straightforward movie and strengthened the villainy behind it. And you still would have had a story, and you could have brought in the whole thing with Lilith not knowing that she's a siren. And then, your end teaser credits could have been, a hint at Handsome Jack. And Handsome Jack's connection to Angel and Hyperion and yada, yada, yada. Or barring all of that, if you just want to work with some of the characters that were there, tell a story about Krieg. Krieg is ripe for story. We got the sense that, yes, he was experimented on and it broke his psyche. And so he's got this subconscious that still remains, his humanity. And his humanity is still trying to overtake the psycho part of his brain. And story-wise and structurally speaking, that would have made for a great movie. And we could have found out some secrets about Krieg. Perfect opportunity. You could have taken the Gunzerker and did something with him. Kevin Hart, yes. Maybe wrong ethnicity to play the Gunzerker, but he would have been great because you're already dealing with a short character. Perfect. On top of that, there was other characters. I can't think of the name of the girl with the robot that I frequently played as whenever we play part 2. She would have been a perfect character to go into. Some of these characters have backstories that very few people would delve into. The robot guy with all the pets from the third game, another character with a lot of backstory that nobody's delved into. I basically see this as Eli Roth got a paycheck. He was probably real hyped to write and direct this thing. But because he was given so much money and the studio got involved and they wanted to make it PG-13 so kids could go in to see a movie based on a mature-rated game with mature themes. Yeah, Eli Roth kind of lost his shit and was like, I'm not even in charge of this. I'm just, kind of like a college paper. I'm just putting my name on it and turning it the fuck in. Like the turkey it is. And I wouldn't be surprised if, later on when this finally does hit home media, there's going to be an extended version that's a little bit louder, bigger, badder, and uncut. Or maybe there's even a work print that was Eli Roth. Or maybe there's a work print that Eli Roth created, that got made before, the whole studio got involved. Like, everything with this movie went horribly wrong. Like, it got announced. Then we got some names, and then it just disappeared, and nobody was working on advertising or merchandising or fucking anything of that nature. Like, this is something where if even the creators of Borderlands could have made bank. Yes, there was some advertisement online, there was some posters with some of the codes so you could get guns and weapons and stuff in the game, but there was really no marketing up until, it was getting ready to release. I don't even think the first trailer dropped until, a month or two prior to it coming out. And at that point, I think they've already knew, there was going to be a problem. And, there were so many monsters and critters they could have drawn from. Like, the vault monster from the first game that comes out of the very first open vault would have been badass. Some tentacle, Eldridge, occult-looking bullshit right out of H.P. Lovecraft's Wet Dreams. But they didn't do that. And it's an abomination. It's an abortion. I understand there's a lot of drama going on Twitter and things with, some of the guys from the game and at the game's development. And yeah, you can kind of start to see why I kind of dropped off from the games around about part 3. Because I was like, I'm not interested in this anymore. I played the core story. I played some of the side stories. The rest of this stuff is just loot and scoot bullshit. The first couple games were fun. Even the Telltale game. A lot of people shit on Telltale, but let's be honest, there was a revival of those, and fuck, they were good. Sucks the Jurassic Park Telltale game has never got a re-release. It would have been perfect for that Jurassic Park set that came out, but it didn't come out in the 90s, and nobody fucking wants it. Boo-hoo. But anyway, I digress. This movie was a fuck show from the beginning, and it was fucked up. And we all know Eli Roth. Eli Roth has a big mouth, and he shoots his shit all the time. And we should have saw the writing on the wall when it was announced he was doing it, and when it was announced X, Y, and Z, and then all of a sudden radio silence. Jamie Lee Curtis would post things, there would be little teasers here and there, but there was no major push for it. And the guys behind the games just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, to make this thing a thing, but it was like the studio's like, all right, here's our wet turd to come out, around about the same time the Alien Romulus and Twisters came out. We're not really going to compete, but let's, get that extra couple bucks from people who couldn't get in to see another showing of Deadpool Wolverine, or maybe wanted something different to see. And I hope like hell they didn't spend a large budget on this, because there's no way they're recouping any of that back. I mean, they might, because they spent jack shit on, on anything of value. There was no production value, there was no writing value, there was no nothing. Again, we are coming from an era of fucking popcorn buckets. Where the fuck is the Borderlands popcorn bucket? That's going to be like my battle cry. And then worst of worst, when this shit was getting ready to go into the tank, like I told you before, Chris, you see basically, oh no, Uwe Boll has entered the chat, and he's coming out of retirement, and it's like, yeah, this movie was just a bad, omen. It was like, here's the death knell to video game movies. And then Uwe Boll's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna step up and start making movies again, because apparently garbage is back, baby. And it's like, but, I will say this about Uwe Boll. Like, the dude has a body of work like nobody else's, and he took advantage of German tax code. And come on, can you blame him? And then on top of that, like, some of his stuff that was, like, non-video game related was still fucking good. Rampage is awesome. No, it didn't have anything to do with the monkey, the giant lizard, or the werewolf character that destroys cities. Completely different video game movie, which was also very tanked. I enjoyed it for being a dumb, stupid, The Rock movie. I wanted to say Chris Rock. That would have been funnier. But the point of it is that, this is bringing video game movies back to the back burner yet again. It's going to be one of these situations where we'll get a good video game movie and then a bunch of shitty ones will precede it. And dear God, I hope not, because there's a lot of good movies that, good video games that deserve a fair live action adaptation. At least a decent cartoon. I mean, come on. But outside of that, no. The plot was terrible. I don't know where they got the plot from. It feels like it was ripped off from 10 or 12 different other movies. Like I said, it feels like Eli Roth, when it came to writing and directing this thing, he's like, I'm just going to hand this in my name in it. It's done. I don't fucking care. Because he got his monies, and now he's going to scoot. And, Gearbox and their bullshit and their antics on Twitter right now, blocking negative reviews and blocking people from, saying things, and Randy Pitchford being the prick that he is, and possible pedophile, which I'll let you delve into a little bit. But yeah, it's just a fucking nightmare. I do not see it. Do not waste your money. You want a good sci-fi action joint? Alien Romulus looks where it's at, and it's already got positive buzz and reviews. But yeah, no, Borderlands the movie, I feel like is the death knell for the Borderlands series. Borderlands 4 is gonna suck. Get over it. Anyways, this Princes of Darkness, peace out, motherfuckers.
But because you can't keep a good Princess of Darkness down, she had to come back for one more thing, which was this.
Oh, and on a side note, I could so see this movie, MST3K Rift, so badly. I mean, that might actually even help it, Somebody contact the crew of the Satellite of Love to give this movie a once-over. Fuck me.
And after all that, I had to chime in. I had to ask her, so what do you think was the better Borderlands movie? The 2015 indie movie Turbo Kid, or Borderlands, or the Borderlands movie? To which she replied the following.
Dude, fucking Turbo Kid's head down. Hell, even the video game for Turbo Kid, I would have to say, is better than anything Gearbox has put out recently.
Plus, she added on to that statement by saying this.
Hell, I think the only reason Borderlands, the game, was even remotely successful is because the first two were just kind of a fluke for them. I mean, you gotta remember, before Borderlands, they were involved heavily with aliens, colonial marines, and we all know what shit show that turned out to be. But I won't lie, after a few updates, if you still have a PlayStation 3 and you can pop that bugger in, it's actually not that bad, but it has taken how many years of updates and patches to make that buggy game less buggy?
Okay, first things first. The reason why Sasha's audio quality sounded weird is because she recorded everything through Facebook Messenger and sent me the stuff that way. So I had to do some finagling in regards to it. But still, you had Sasha with us. If you want me to bug Sasha to tell me her thoughts about Alien Romulus, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll kind of poke and prod her to do the same thing so we could hear more from her. If you miss her, let us know in the comments and in the emails and so forth and so on. But I digress. Remember, last week I mentioned that because of Borderlands, it was kind of announced during this whole time as well that Uwe Boll, infamous director that made a whole mess of bad video game movies, came out of retirement. Well, As I was putting all this together and letting you know about Sasha, why Sasha's recordings kind of were weird sounding, she messaged me sharing a article from IGN, which the title states, "Alone in the Dark director Uwe Boll mocks Borderlands movie, Now You Wish I Directed." And oh my fucking god. Let's read the first few paragraphs of the article together, folks. It says, Uwe Boll, director of several video game movies, including the critically panned Alone in the Dark, has mocked Eli Roth's Borderlands adaptation, saying audience probably wish he had helmed it. Boll took a swipe at Borderlands on X/Twitter by sharing an image that IGN posted about the movie's devastating box office debut, having made only $8.8 million in the United States and Canada in its opening weekend, alongside his own caption stating, and I quote, and I'm quoting here, their quote, "Haha, my movies were rated R and made more money than this. Now you wish I directed." Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. The article continues. The one person on X Twitter refuted Bolt's claim by sharing statistics showing at least 4 of his movies opened to less at box office than Borderlands. Boll then responded with the claim that his movies have been illegally downloaded 41 billion times, though he didn't provide any evidence to prove this is a factual statement. The German filmmaker made a name for himself in Hollywood by tackling various video game movie adaptations during the early 2000s, but they were deemed critical and commercial failures. Alone in the Dark, released in 2005, is considered one of the worst movies ever, only with a 1% critic score on Rotten Potatoes. It says here, I guess the shares the tweet that they were talking about. It said the one person who goes by SSFF plus Fire says House of the Dead opened at 5.5 million. Final gross $13.8 million. Alone in the Dark opened at $2.8 million. Final gross $12.6. Blood Rain opened at $1.5. Final gross $3.6 million. Dungeon Siege opened at $3.2. Final gross $13.3. Basically, they could have. I don't know if that was just domestic or global, but it shows here. His reply to that, saying, "Wrong, Boll is back, 41 billion in illegal downloads. I gotta give the man credit." They talk about all his movies and all that, but still, him fighting back and saying he could have done it, he's probably right. But to move on from this shit stuff, I'm going to reply to Sasha's telling her to... First of all, thanking her for sharing this article while I'm putting everything together, and letting you know that I'm going to have the audience, all you out there, if you're listening, to share the love. Tell, go. I'm going to put this. I'm not one to send you all out there. The few of you that listen out there that listen to this, go to be polite. Go to Sasha's X page on X, or her Facebook page, Sasha the Princess of Darkness on Facebook. Tell her you miss her on the show, that you want her to get her stuff together and come back on the show because you miss her.
Our pre-recorded content has ended, so let's go back to the Geek Privateer podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Whether you're on YouTube or listening on one of the many audio outlets I have this posted up on, I apologize for taking you this long, and in that last segment, kind of shouting in your ear. Just that sometimes, even back then and now, I tend to get passionate, and when I get passionate, I tend to get a little bit loud. So all in all, the TDLR is, will this episode in any way, shape, or form stop the majority of you from buying Borderlands 4 when it comes out if you haven't pre-ordered it yet. No, the proof is the pre-orders. With so many folks already ordering it or putting their pre-orders, despite what Randy has said in the past and how past stuff is, this shows you the Call of Duty type of mentality, and that's the best phrase I could put it. So again, why are we buying this? Again, it gives us something to talk about, and with us in the midst of burnout, number one, two, not really having a co-host to talk to things and have different subjects on a weekly basis to chat with, it makes things hard for one person to do that, because I'm just shouting into the ether. And I know a lot of YouTubers tend to do that with vlogs and reviews and do that all the time, but I've been doing this for the better part of 10 plus years, and it gets draining. I'm somebody that likes to have somebody to chat with, and so therefore, if you've made it this far, please kind of do what I said in the clip. At least down and below in the comments section, if you're watching on YouTube, let us know that you want to hear Sasha again and see her face here on the video platform YouTube. If I manage to put this up on Rumble, if there's comment section, if you're not really sure who Sasha, the Princess of Darkness is, let us know, and we can kind of poke and prod her in a friendly way, and kind of let her know that she is wanted back on the platform, on our show, when she decides to, hey, I want to start podcasting again and I have better connection. Hopefully, she has hinted that she will be getting a PS5 and be getting Borderlands 4, and thankfully with Shift and it being crossplay, we can play with her on that. It's been a while since we didn't really think about that when we picked up Borderlands 3. So hopefully a lot of the issues that Borderlands had with crossplay and co-op, we could get her into play and have some fun. And probably have her partner hop in as well, and we can relay these messages. And if they're on YouTube, we can screenshot them and say, "Hey, see, people miss you. We want you to come back." If you're listening to us on Podbean or Good Pods, we got alert pretty much that our comment section is working again. So feel free to let us know in the comment section if you're listening to us on Podbean or Good Pods. Remember, if you're listening to us on Podbean, you have to sign up for Podbean. It's free. You don't have to create a podcast. You just have to sign up. It allows you to subscribe to us, like our show, and comment. So please do so. And it's available on all platforms. So if you're listening to us on a iOS device, feel free to do so. We'll recommend that. And plus, if you're listening to us on the iOS device, don't forget you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts. You might not be able to like and comment, but you'll at least be able to subscribe to us. And if you're listening to us on Android, Podbean and Good Pods are your best choice. We'll be happy to see you listen to us on those platforms. And plus, if you listen to us on Podbean, you have access to all our audio content. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Again, I apologize for this episode being over 2 hours and 13 minutes long. All our social media is down below. If you made it this long, hit that like button and let us know in the comment by putting director's cut of a movie in the comments down below to let us know you made it this far. So that being said, as always, I'm the captain of this year's ship, the Captain Podfather, and
I'm a gamer. I'm wearing a bikini.
You've been listening to the Geek Privateer Podcast.